We have some participants. Sorry, I was just trying to get it to stream live to Facebook, but it doesn't want to do that, which is so annoying. Anyway, good evening. It's 9 p.m. here in East London in my front room. I can see that a few people are joining us, which is fantastic. I'm going to give people a few minutes. We may have had a bit of a tech issue with the link not going out, so I've just manually sent it through to everybody. So it may take a while for people to kind of check their emails and to get on to this evening's webinar. Do say hello in the comments so I know who is listening in live, where you're from. We don't want any lurkers. Don't want any lurkers in the group. This is about a two-way conversation, and we want as much engagement as possible. Yeah. So as I said, it's 9 p.m, 9:01. My daughter has been in bed for about half an hour. Whether she's asleep or not, we do not know. So we've got Rita from Manchester, Michigan, and Heather from London, just down the road in East London. Lisa from Southend. Oh, I love a bit of Southend. Amy from South Wales. Joe from East London too. Woo-hoo. East London, massive. Okay, so I'm just going to give people a few minutes to jump on. Hopefully this is going to be a bit of fun and very informative for you guys as well, and you can get to know me a little bit. So I've quite excitedly bought a new phone today. Probably not the best day to kind of change technology over, I realised, but I got a bit excited and took it out of the box and was like, oh, I'll just set it up tonight. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I want to have a bit of kind of a bit of a rant. Those of you who've been following me on social media the last few days probably have seen quite a few of my rants. There will be more. In fact, I should get my bullshit button. I have a bullshit button that I sometimes use when I spot bullshit. So let's have a look at what's going on. So we've got loads of people from London. This is brilliant. Alison, South East London. Somebody from Greenwich, Claire from Manchester, Juanita from Midlands. Brilliant. Cool. So get yourselves comfy. I hope you've all got a book and a pen to write with, because I'm going to get you to do shit. Yeah, I'm not going to do all the talking. Well, I'm going to maybe do all the talking. Because the thing is, I can do these where I bring people in live. Let's have a look. Yeah, so technically speaking, I could bring in some panelists. Might do that later. But yeah, I'm hoping that we have some more people join. And if not, you can watch this on the replay. So anybody that's registered gets this sent out by email. So you can watch it all again if you want. So another 2 minutes and then we're going to get started. Oh, I can see who's here now. Pam, Renee, Sarah, Stacey, Ula, Nikki, Heather, Hazel, Annalise. Some nice familiar names there and some that I don't know at all, which is really cool. So yeah, 1 more minute and we will get started. I have got, let's turn that off. I've got some notes. I've got no scripts or anything, and I don't use PowerPoint. I hate using PowerPoint live on webinars. I'm like, you're either live or you're not. And for those of you who need like visual aids, hopefully I'll be able to use language that helps you to visualize stuff. Or you can draw your own diagrams. Okay. Where are we at? So we had about 70 people. No, actually it was more. I think it was close to 80 something people registered for the webinar. But I think there might have been, can you just let me know in the comments actually, did you get a string of emails kind of, you know, at intervals after you signed up, or did you just get one about 15 minutes ago with the link? Because there may have been a few tech things going. Hi Amber, there's Amber and Amy. Cool, loads of names that I recognise here, which is brilliant. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the, so somebody has, so Heather says no string, some were in junk, don't just hate tech, goodness me. Okay, all right, well, we'll get to the bottom of the tech stuff later. Right, it is 9:05, I'm going to get started. I can't manage to turn the beeping off on my new phone. So let's turn the volume right the way down. That should do it. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome to my front room. I'm here in East London in Stratford in my 2-bed with my daughter in the next bedroom trying to be quiet. This is a session all about the fundamentals of tribe building, okay? It's not going to be hugely structured. I'm going to share lots of stuff that I know and get you thinking and maybe writing some stuff down, stuff that you can implement in your business as of tomorrow or tonight if you want to. Because I know we've got a few people from the States tuning in, so you know, lots of stuff that you can implement immediately, okay? So just a bit of housekeeping. I'm guessing we'll go for about 45 minutes to an hour. If you have to leave, you know, give me a little bit of a nudge and say you're going on and I'll shut up. You know, with these things, with these webinars, normally you get to the end and there's a big sales pitch. I don't know whether you can call my sales pitch big. I will tell you about Tribe Builder, which is the thing that's currently open. But it will be a very kind of relaxed, just kind of explanation of what it is and how you can get involved. But the idea is for this to be, I don't know, friendly and not sleazy and no tricks. I've never done NLP, so I couldn't even use it even if I wanted to. And I'm hoping that you guys will get involved and give feedback and use this as an opportunity to kind of really think about tribe building in your own business. And I want you guys to be visible in the chat, okay? We do not want any lurkers, all right? Got my eye on you. We don't want lurkers. If I invited you round to my house for a house party, you wouldn't stand in the corner not talking to anyone, would you? Okay, so I want that kind of sharing, open, vulnerable kind of stuff going on in the chat. So one of the first things I'd like to know in the chat is, how do you know me? Do you know me from one of my previous lives? Do you know me from the internet? I just want you to post in the comments, where do you know me? Don't reveal any of my secrets or any of my embarrassing bits, but yeah, where do you know me? And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am. So my name is Julie Creffield. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Some people know me as the founder of 2 Factor Run, which is a plus size fitness movement. I'm an author, I'm a TEDx speaker, I'm a motivational keynote speaker for conferences. I write books. I am a poet. Have you seen my recent piece of poetry? But I've done a lot of things in my life. The thing that kind of strings them all together is this idea of community engagement. I worked, prior to coming online and doing online stuff, I worked in community engagement in East London for more than 20 years. I worked with young people on housing estates. I worked with people that were out of work. I worked with volunteers. I worked with the elderly. I would go into groups or go into areas where there was some kind of challenge, some kind of social issue of some sort, and I would find common ground for all of those parties involved, and we would produce something. It could be a strategy, or it could be a piece of theatre, or it could be a dance piece or a photography exhibition, depended on kind of what the people involved were interested. I worked on the Olympics for about 8 years, and yeah, I just had a very kind of diverse and colourful work history so far. So I'm just having a look through here. Yeah, lots of people from 2 Factor Run, from the speaking world. So I love this. I came across your rap video today. Loved it. Do you know what? The first person I showed that video to was my sister. And she said, Ju, she said, you're like the white Stormzy. And that really made me laugh. So yeah, loads of people have been comparing me to kind of other spoken word artists, which is brilliant. Because I used to love spoken word. When I was like 17 or 18, I used to have like a journal, and I used to write all these pieces. And sometimes I'd upload them onto forums, because this was way before Facebook. And then I stopped, and it's a massive part of me. And even though I've continued to be a writer, I've shied away from poetry because I thought, A, I didn't think I was good enough, and B, it's quite a vulnerable thing to do. So I'm glad that I'm back doing it. some people through social media. So Pam says Breeder Miller raves about you. Oh, and I rave about Breeder Miller. So you kind of, from the comments, you can see that people know me from a range of places. And one of the things that I love doing on Facebook, so I'm very active on Facebook. I don't do a lot of kind of free groups and stuff like that, but just on my personal page, I will jump in and have a rant about stuff or tell people what I'm up to. And one of the things I love is if I do a Facebook Live and I see all these people popping up, and they're not just my work buddies or my clients. What I love is it could be my auntie, or it could be a cousin, or it could be some bloke I used to knock about with, or whoever it is. And what I love is that I don't have to change who I am. I just can appear as me, and people can take it or leave it. And everyone will have their own kind of view on who I am and how I show up. And I love the freedom that that gives me. I don't have to have like the working Julie and the non-working Julie. I can just be me. So Alison says, have I listened to Kate Tempest? I did. Somebody else said that I reminded them of her, and I did go and have a look at her. She's kind of cool. So the point I'm trying to make is, I think we've got it all wrong when it comes to tribe building. You know, Seth Godin wrote his book Tribes, and it's a great book. It really does speak to you know, the historical, where the idea of tribes come from and what we need to do to feel connected and all of that. It's a great book. I'd recommend anybody going and reading it. But I think it's been kind of used out of context by business owners, particularly kind of online influencers, to create these massive armies of people who are their kind of followers and fans. And I think we've lost something in that, because as business owners, we compare ourselves to those people, you know, like the Marie Forleos and the, you know, all the blokes out there. I can't even bring myself to name the blokes, but, you know, we know who we're talking about. These people that have these big kind of tribes, and they're selling to them quite aggressively, and those people sometimes make us feel a bit inadequate, and we kind of think, what's the point in me growing my tribe of 100 people when they've got like 4.2 billion or whatever? And Instagram is a brilliant example of this, where you do that whole kind of comparisonitis thing. So I think that tribes are something different. I think, particularly as a solopreneur, you're kind of here and you have this kind of group of people that kind of gravitate towards you and just circulate around you throughout your life. And yes, people come and go out of your life, but quite often, because of things like Facebook, we can't get rid of people. They kind of hang about. And sometimes we think about tribes in terms of customers. We think that that's what we should be doing. We should be attracting people towards us that become our customers. And then we can become quite like protective of those customers, and quite, you know, if people unsubscribe from our list, we're like, oh no, 5 people unsubscribed, they didn't like that email, and we really take it to heart. I don't think tribes are about that. I think tribes are about influence at all different levels. Yes, of course, sometimes the people that you attract towards you are going to be your customers, but more times than not, they could actually become kind of a raving fan or an advocate, like an active advocate of what you do. And if you switch your mind to kind of being able to serve people that are outside of your initial target market, it becomes a lot easier for you to show up as yourself, to be a bit more relaxed about the content that you put out there. And also, something I'm really passionate about is, you know, being of service, or, you know, contributing to some kind of world problem. Because I would say, regardless of what business you're in, and I'm going to ask you a question about this in a minute, regardless of what business you're in, you serve, or you solve, or you contribute towards a world problem. Okay, so what I'd love for you to do, and this is an opportunity for you to showcase who you are, okay? In the comments, I would like you to write just a very, very short bio. Who you are, what you do. I don't want any links. We are not selling to each other, but I want you to say who you are, what you do, and what world problem you solve. Okay. Now think creatively about this, because I know in the last round of Tribe Builder, we had an artist who come in and she was like, I don't know what world problem I solve. I just make art. And I was like, no, you do not just make art. And I gave her a bit of a telling off, and we talked about kind of the role that art has played throughout centuries. And because of her specific, unique place as an artist, she was solving so many other kind of world problems. So yeah, I don't buy into the fact that any business owner is not serving or working towards some world problem. So come on, who's going to be brave enough to type their things? We've got a couple of our original tribe builders in here, so I'm going to call you out. We've got Mel in here, who's been a guest expert, and we've got Heather and who else? Claire Breeder's here, Alison. So we've definitely got a couple of you. So Alison says, I'm a wine tasting host. I take away the snobbery in wine. The world needs less snobbery when it comes to wine, right? And we know, yes, there's the flip side of kind of wine and the health implications of that, but we also know that wine, can aid mental health and de-stressing at the end of the week. Breeder says, I help caregivers carry on. I'm a speaker and author and creator of an online support group called the Caregivers Clubhouse. Really clear to see the kind of world problem that Breeder is solving. Hazel says, for 30 years, I was a spiritual mentor and teacher. I recently switched my emphasis to money, and my goal now is to guide people out of financial slavery to the best of my ability. Oh my God, what a powerful statement. Financial slavery. Hands up who've ever felt like they were in some kind of financial slavery. Really powerful. So keep jumping in. Joe, I've just started a business which helps connect people to jobs, mentors and advice, which helps mitigate climate change. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Sarah says, I'm a transformational coach. I help women who feel defeated by fear and self-doubt to soar in their lives. This is just awesome, absolutely awesome. Heather says, I take women on transformational walking experiences where I provide the space and time for women to focus on themselves and connect with their true selves. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, keep posting. I really want to know, and I will have a look back at these once the webinar is over and have a little nosy at each other's. Now, here's the thing. Each of these businesses that you run serve a wide range of people, both your clients, but actually people outside of your client group. And this is where we go wrong. Often we write copy and we write content and we do our kind of salesy stuff to attract just the people who've got money to pay us. So you'll often hear coaches talk about, who is your ideal paying customer, okay? So sometimes we close off whole groups of people because we go, they can't afford it. They can't afford my service. I'm only going for high-end clients. And what we do is we write copy that's just speaking to those high-end clients. And we ignore everybody else. Those people that we ignore could become our best advocates, and we can serve them with other types of products. So Jenny says, I teach recorder. Hi, Jenny. So Jenny's one of my two-factor run ladies. Jenny says, I teach recorder, piano, keyboard, and music therapy and run recorder groups. I help people to make music together. Oh my God, yes. And the joy that brings to people at all levels of their life, both, from kids right the way up to kind of older people. And it's brilliant for, she says it helps people that are recovering from strokes, and it controls health problems and makes new friends. God, social cohesion, that is what that is all about, as well as the joy of music, of course. So the problem is that people think about tribe building just in terms of their customer. And then they get stuck because they run out of ideas for their content. People get bored of listening to them talk about the same things. And then it becomes really difficult to get traction online. Whereas if you think about the world problem that you solve and you start talking about that, whether people buy from you or not, it becomes a lot easier for people to buy into what you're selling. Okay, because ultimately we are selling, we're in business, right? We want to make money, but we don't have to decide about making money and making the world a better place. And I can tell you from experience, I give away a whole heap of stuff for free. And often I used to use the phrase inspiration doesn't pay the bills. That was a bullshit story of mine, because actually inspiration absolutely does. And I know that there are thousands and thousands of women all over the world that have never bought a program from me or a t-shirt or anything in terms of the running stuff, but they have absolutely passed me on to somebody who has. So let's not focus just on the people that are buying from us. let's think about the people that can kind of get excited by our mission and become advocates. So I am going to share with you, I've kind of shared with you a little bit about the problem. The problem is we've got tribe building all wrong. The other problem is, as business owners, we want more. We want more traction, more money, more impact, but we want less stress. We want less overwhelm. We want less fear. Hands up if you ever feel fear in your business, like, oh my God, I'm running out of time. Oh my God, I'm running out of clients. Oh my God, I'm running out of cash. You know, all these kind of feelings of lack, or feelings of not having enough. And it can be lonely. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel really scary. Like, it can have a really big impact on your mental health, particularly when you go through it by yourself. You know, so I'm just trying to keep an eye on some of these comments. Somebody said, oh, so there's a lady on here called Stacey, and she says, where do I know you from? In the lift. She used to live upstairs to me here. So hi, Stacey. So yes, we know that the problem exists out there. I think one of the other thing that is really challenging in this context of tribes is a lot of these business coaches who have these massive tribes make us feel shit. They make us feel really crappy. They go, here's the problem, and they use all these kind of salesy techniques. They go, here's the problem. Do you want to solve it? Do you want to solve it enough? Here's my product that costs £10,000,000. And if you don't want to buy it, it means you don't want it enough, which is just absolute bullshit. And I really don't buy into that stuff. So yeah, my mastermind, which is what my Tribe Builder program is, tries to be an alternative to that. Because I know when I set up my business, and I've been in business for a long, long time. I've worked as a freelancer and, you know, a consultant and stuff like that. But when I switched from working in a full-time job to setting up Too Fat to Run, I needed a business coach. And the free coaching that I was able to access was so shit. I went along to my local business centre in East London, and the bloke went, what you have here, love, it's a hobby. It's all about your ego and you'll never make any money from it. And that was the advice that I got from, you know, an official business advisor. And back then I didn't really know about the online business world. I didn't know about the coaches. And then when I found out about them, I couldn't afford them. So then I just felt extra shit. Like, so my business is really struggling to get growth. And I also don't have the money to pay a business coach. And I've got into this feeling of there's no support out there unless I've got money to pay. Which is annoying, which is why I love to be able to give free stuff away and just to be of value where I can. So yeah, so what I thought I would do during this session is talk you through 3 key principles of tribe building. And these are things that you can implement whether you come on my program or not. They're things you can start tomorrow, today, and you can just kind of get stuck in with them. And I guess one of the things that I would love for you to do is just to kind of keep me abreast of anything that changes as a result of you using these kind of key principles, just because I get really excited when I see people use them, because these tend to be the alternative of the bullshit, cringy, salesy, sleazy stuff that I see a lot online. So there we go. You ready for this? Number 1 is give people a reason to give a shit about your business. Okay, we all love our businesses, right? We're all passionate. We all understand the pain points of our clients. We understand the transformation. We get why it's important, but a lot of people don't. They just don't get it. And it's our job to help them get it. Okay, so if you do really, really important work, but all of that important work is behind closed doors, it's going to be hard to get traction. And for some of us who are doing quite therapeutic work, it's not like we can go out and tell everybody what we do. We can't say, well, today I worked with Bob and Bob broke down, and you know, we can't disclose the content of what we do, but we can actually absolutely disclose the transformation generally that we have for our clients and why this stuff is so important. And I think when we talk to that in our content, and it's more than just testimonials. Testimonials have a place, absolutely, in terms of giving you that credibility. But I think it's about you making content and taking action. It's not just about content, actually, because I think the world has gone content mad. It's about taking action. It's about doing stuff where people go, I get it now. So I might not be your target market, but I get why you do what you do, and I get why it's so important. And you know, the other day, this bloke saw my video and he messaged me, he emailed me, and I love getting emails from blokes for some reason, just because I tend to get tons from women. Got this email from this bloke, and he said, I clicked on your video, your spoken word video. He said, and I watched that, and then I went to your YouTube channel and I watched your TEDx talk, and then I went to something else. He said, I spent an hour, or I spent 30 minutes or whatever. He said, and that is time. And I thought, here we go. He said, that is time that I don't want to get back. He said, I'm not your target market, but I've got 2 teenage daughters, and thank you for the work that you do. You cannot get a compliment better than that. Someone who's not in your immediate target market, but can still see the value of the work that you do. Because I guarantee you, he will be talking about me. He will be telling his friends, he will be telling his wife, he'll be telling his daughters to tell their mates and all of that kind of stuff. And having an advocate who your work speaks to is one of the most powerful things you can do. So that is number one, is give people a reason to give a shit about your stuff. And that's all about talking to the pain point of the world problem that, you know, the world problem that you're trying to kind of solve. Number two, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer, but still people don't do it. Number two is show up as you really are. It's taken me a long time to do that. I'm really good at doing it in person. When I first started to become visible online, it took a while. I bought into this idea that I had to be really slick. Like I had to have brilliantly straightened hair. My hair does look straight, but actually it's only straight at the front because I'm quite lazy. It's quite messy at the back. I had this idea that I had to have a fantastic... Oh, my daughter's awake. I had this idea that I had... Was you? Do you want to come and say hello? No. Are you sure? Come on. So, this is Rose. Say hello to everybody. Hello. So look, there are 28 people joining Mummy's webinar tonight. Yeah. You've been a very good girl because you've been quiet, haven't you? All right, go and finish my story. All right, you go and finish your story, and when I finish this, I'll come in and tuck you in if you're not asleep. I knew she'd want to come in. She's always just like, yeah, I want to be part of it. I just wanted to go toy. Okay. All right. Yeah, this thing about showing people who you are. I felt like there were these rules around professionalism, like you have to speak properly, you can't swear. There's so many rules that I used to think that I could have needed to abide by, and you know, I would look at other people in the online world and go, oh, I need to be more like them, because I looked at them as if that was success. And actually what I've realised is the more I'm me, and I really mean that, like really authentically me, the more success I have, like seriously. And when I made that video, so I only made that video like 10 days ago. I think we shot it two Mondays ago. Somebody asked me today in an interview how it felt making that video. Was it scary? Did I feel a lot of pressure? How did it feel to have people watching you being filmed in like really busy areas? And it was the easiest thing I've ever done because it was 100% me. I don't. It was 100% me. I felt like I'd gone back to who I was when I was at my strongest, you know, because I've got this kind of core belief that, you know, when we're like 10, 11, 12 as girls, particularly, I don't know if there are any men on the call, but as girls, I think that is who we are really strongly as ourselves. And then we come back to that often in our 40s, 50s, 60s, once we've dealt with all the bullshit of having to kind of act a certain way. But that's just my view. So try and show up exactly as you are. And sometimes you have to sit and think, what does that mean? What does it look like to show up as me? And that requires you to be vulnerable. It requires you to show your flaws or the things that you think are a flaw. How many women have said, oh, I won't get publicity shots done until I've lost weight, or until I've got my roots done, or until whatever, until my wardrobe is better, I can afford a better outfit or whatever. It's just bullshit, man. Show up as you. Because I really believe that we attract and we repel people. And people see like the fakery. They see the fakery. If you show up, you know, not being your true self, people see it, and that has a kind of knock-on effect, kind of, you know, how much they want to engage with your stuff. And number 3, and this is really important, it's a bit of a hard one to describe. I'm just seeing some of the comments here. You're such a good mum. Oh, thank you. I don't get told that often. That's nice, thank you. So number 3 is about creating win-win-wins. We often hear about, let's create a win-win. I think it's more like a triangle. So, you know, you can come into some kind of opportunity that creates a win-win for you and your client. But what if you created a win-win that was a win for you, a win for your client, and a win for the wider world? You know, and I don't know, I find this one a bit hard to kind of to kind of articulate, but this is about kind of leverage. And in the online world, we can't work in silos. We can't, you know, we want to get on people's podcasts, we want to stand on people's stages, we want people to buy from us, we want to buy from other people. Like, there are all these every day, these interactions with other people. Even though we say online we're not connected anymore, there's these micro kind of things happening all the time, and we're having to make decisions as to whether things are fair or not. You know, is it fair for me to appear on your podcast and then you want me to share it with all my followers? And there are all of these kind of navigations that happen, and being able to be really open about creating opportunities that have shared value. And I think that is where being in a tribe can really, really help, because you go, it's not even about scratching each other's backs, because I was thinking about a metaphor around this earlier on. You know, often we say, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I think it's not as transactional as that. I think it's a little bit softer, and it's about kind of, one of the things that I've been kind of reading up on a little bit around my life coaching stuff is this thing called strokes. And we go through our day, every day, wanting to get stroked, which sounds a little bit sexual, but, you know, we want our ego to be stroked. And we get that from different ways. We get that from people liking our stuff on social media. We get it from compliments. We get it from the self-care that we give to ourselves, from the food we eat. All of our choices in life, you know, throughout our day on a really kind of tangible basis are based on our ego being stroked and our kind of self-esteem being stroked. And I think we can do that in business. We can say, you know, I'm going to big you up, not only because I believe that you're great, but I know it's good to big people up. It makes me feel good to be able to do that. And I think the more we can do that, and we absolutely, I don't know, the people that were in Tribe Builder, you know, that's what happens. It's not this hierarchy of, I'm the guru, I'm going to teach you something. It's very organic, and I can't think of the word, like, I don't know, it's more holistic, and that's a bit of a wanky word, but it is. It's more collaborative, and that's what I think we need. When I collaborate with other entrepreneurs, I feel fantastic. When I try and do things by myself and then try and create these kind of transactional arrangements, you know, where we're all protecting our own stuff, that feels, I don't know, I can feel it in my body. It just feels tense and not very nice. So those are my 3 things. Give people a reason to give a shit about what you do. Show people who you really are, and create win-wins. So I am going to take a little bit of a breather, because I don't shut up, do I really? And I'm going to read through some. Oh, I love all the comments for Rose. I won't tell her because she'll be back. So I'm just going to have a little look at the comments. Let's have a look. Yeah, any thoughts that you have? How would this apply to your business? And which of these 3 do you think you should be doing more of? 1, 2, or 3? Which of these do you think you could do more of in your business? So I can't see everybody's names here. It's really difficult to see what the names are. But somebody says, that's what terrified me. They all look so slick and polished. But think about it. Do you want slick and polished? Does everybody want slick and polished? Because think about it. Slick and polished often, I don't know, it kind of eludes a certain kind of quality maybe. But it also, I don't know, I don't like being around a load of slick and polished people all the time. I want people that are able to let their hair down and show us who they really are. When you speak and write from the heart, that's when you get the best responses. Absolutely. Does the first one apply if your clients are corporate? Give people a reason to give a shit. Is that the question? Does the first? Yeah, I think it does. I think it absolutely does. You know, this is the thing. So in my video, one of the lines from my poem is that people are people. People are people, no matter on what platform they stand. Now, in the video, I'm standing on a platform, a train platform, but actually, that's not the meaning of it. What we have started doing, and I don't know when we started doing it, is we have started to kind of put people in boxes according to different things. So we treat people differently on Instagram, we treat people differently on Facebook, we treat people differently that are in corporates, we talk differently about business to business and business to consumer. It's like we're just fragmenting everything we do, and then we forget that ultimately behind every type of business, every type of supplier, every type of person is a person. And ultimately, we buy with our emotions, you know, and we at least get interested in things based on, that makes sense on a kind of emotional level. Rose, I'm not going to read it now, darling.
I finished.
I know. So Rose has just written a story called Sports Day. I'm not going to read it tonight. I'll read it when I come in a little while. I've got another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to come to it all.
I want to stay with you.
Okay. All right. So let's read some questions. I found this when I became a manager. I noticed that volunteer colleagues who I managed were doing better with me, better than me with corporate clients because they were more authentic with the clients. Absolutely, I absolutely get that. But it takes courage. It takes real courage to be able to say this is who I am. And actually, I tell you what, one of the things that I used to get really stressed out about. So Rose used to be really good at sleeping. Do you remember when that was?
Yeah.
So she used to go to bed at 8 and wake up at 8, and she was like that from when she was a newborn baby till she was about 3, I think, or 4. And I used to be able to do these calls, no problem. I used to go 8:30, I could jump on a call and I could work in the evenings. And then she's got to a point where she just doesn't do that anymore. And I started getting really stressed. I can remember doing a group call once, and she woke up and I felt really triggered. I felt like, oh my God, everybody's judging me. They're thinking, why is your child out of bed? You know, why are we having to put up with your child being on the call? And I just stopped doing my 8:30 calls because I just felt really stressed out about it. And it wasn't fair on Rose either, because, you know, she knew I was rushing her off to bed to do stuff. So now I'm just much more relaxed about it. I would prefer for her to be asleep in bed, but it's also half term, and we're getting up a little bit later, aren't we? It's half term. So I'm kind of, Rose is a massive part of my life. She is my life. She's my world. And everything I do is for her. So I'm not going to hide her from the world. She's a big part of my drive. Rose, tell everybody on this call, what is an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur is basically when you have more than one job and you
we talked about ideas, didn't we? Remember? Where you make money from your ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so back to the call. Back to the call. So I hope some of that was useful. So Amy says, thank you for sharing your lovely smile with us, Rose. So Kirsty says, great webinar, Julie. Thank you for sharing all of this. I also have a little insomniac who has just woken up, have to go, but thank you so much. Thank you, Kirsty. So those are my 3 key points. I hope this has been helpful. I've got a challenge for you. I want you, before we come off the call, to grab yourself a Post-it note, and I want you to write down one tangible thing which you are going to do off the back of this call. Okay, could be, you know, you're going to make a video. It could be you're going to write a blog about your story. It could be you're going to reach out to appear on somebody's podcast. I want you to write on your post-it note what you're going to do, and I would love for you to post it on Instagram. I love Instagram. It's so much better than other platforms at the moment for the stuff that I'm doing. And tag me into it. You can use the hashtag #IBlameJulie, or you can just kind of tag my actual name in. Thanks, Rose. But I do want to briefly, can you give me 5 seconds just to explain this, because I sometimes get this bit confused. I just want to explain to you briefly what Tribe Builder is, because I know some people will be watching this on the replay. Tribe Builder is my 12-week program for entrepreneurs. It is for solopreneurs, coaches, speakers, artists, experts, bakers, candlestick makers. I don't think there's a kind of solopreneur that this stuff doesn't apply to. It is part learning, part action, part coaching, and part tribe. It's part community. I am so proud of what we did in the first round in the pilot. And I realized that this was the group that I needed when I first started out in business. We had 20 entrepreneurs in the first round, 7 of whom have decided to stay for the second round. And that's the idea, is that you go through the first 12 weeks of the program, and then if you decide that you like how it works, then you stay for a really affordable fee afterwards. But no pressure. There's absolutely no pressure to stay if you've got what you needed from it or it didn't feel like a good fit. I always forget the prices, but it is £579, and you can pay in installments. If you are part of the 2-Factor Run community or have been a client of mine in life coaching, you get my mates rates, so it always pays to be a mate with me. And then the other thing I wanted to say, anybody that was thinking about buying and is going to buy, then the first 5 people who buy from today will also get a bonus one-to-one session with me. Now, we do one-to-one sessions quite differently in Tribe Builder, because often business owners learn the most from listening in to coaching with other businesses. So those one-to-one sessions are recorded via Zoom, and they're Zoom linked into the Facebook group for other people to get learning from. And I know I did one with Heather and I did one with Breeder that went live into the group, and so many people went, oh my God, I've just had my biggest aha because of a conversation that happened with another business owners. So Heather says lots of action. Yes, there is lots of action. I do give people a bit of a kick up the backside. So yeah, if you've got any questions, I'm happy to stay on the call and answer a few of your questions now. You can email me. I don't do the hard sell. If it doesn't feel like it's right for you, then it's not. But I would obviously love for you to come and take part. I've also done a series of videos on my YouTube channel with participants from Tribe Builder, so that you can hear it from their point of view, how it's helped their businesses, the things that they found difficult, things that, you know, what kind of coach I am. And I think that's it really. But yeah, I would love for you to jump onto social media and to talk about this webinar and to talk about me as a coach, because that would be really helpful. And I'd love to find out more about your businesses, because I'm just nosy, and I'm really curious, as I am nosy, aren't I? I'm really curious, as Tribe Builder grows, I really want to kind of stretch myself and find businesses that are going to be more of a challenge for me to apply the Tribe Builder stuff to. I think it applies to every business. I really do, because I think it's the key principles of how you attract people to your venture, whatever that venture is about. And actually, there's a friend of mine that runs a social enterprise or kind of charity, and she keeps saying, Julie, all the stuff you're talking about is the stuff that we do in our social enterprise. So thank you to everybody who joined live. I've had an absolute blast. I don't know about you. I think though, I don't know, it feels weird just speaking at you guys. So I think maybe next time I do one of these, I might have a bit of a panel, just because I don't think we should be always promoting. I think it should be a conversation, and it absolutely has been in the chat. I'm not the best at kind of looking at the chat stuff. So Amy says, I'm a soft tissue therapist specializing in sports massage. I help people stay active, keep moving pain-free, and dispel the myth that exercise equals inevitable knee replacement. Motion is lotion for the body and the mind. Oh my good, Amy, we could have a good old conversation about that. And I'd be really interested to know what your business model is, because that's one of the things that we do a whole module on business models and how you can create passive income and how you can try different ways of using the same expertise, but in a just slightly different way that may create more traction. Mel says, I help entrepreneurs pitch with confidence, credibility and charisma. They have amazing ideas that will change the world, but if they can't clearly articulate them, then they won't ever get them into the world to fulfill their purpose. Absolutely. And see, that's the thing. So many times what we do as business owners helps other people to change the world. You know, so we're all part of this. We're all in it together. Okay, so I'm just gonna have a quick scroll back down to the bottom of so Breeder says she's back for round 2. Can't wait to meet all the new members of our tribe. Claire says it's definitely helped me and I'm staying happy to chat to anyone who wants to know what a good experience it is. Oh. So Della says, good night, Rose. I think that's a little clue for us to finish up. Would you like to say anything to the people on this call? Would you like people to join Mummy's program?
Yeah.
Why would you like to join? Why would you like that? So Rose and I often talk about our intentions, don't we, on the way to school? And you tell me about your intentions about behaving good in class. And I talk about my intentions of what I'm going to do in my business. And if I'm selling programs, then I say I want 5 new people for my program.
15 sometimes.
Sometimes 15 and sometimes 10. Because we are working on a goal. What's our big goal at the moment? For our new house. And what do you get if we get our new house?
A dog.
Rose wants a dog, but she can't have a dog until we move house. So
yeah, we can remember that shop that we went to, and they said we can have dogs.
Yeah, they said we could have a little puppy, but yeah, we're not getting one till we move. Anyway,
Not fair.
On that note, I'm going to say thank you and goodbye. If you're watching this on the catch up and you'd like to get involved in some of the conversations, then do just reach out to me on social media or email me. And I'm going to go and put this little munchkin to bed. All right, night, everybody, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.